You are tuning in to the Pros and Cons, the Centralist podcast brought to you from the heart of West Virginia. Now, here is your host, the new young face of hope, because the old one was lousy, Assad Daria Khan.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a brand new episode of the Pros and Cons show. I know this episode might be quite a bit of a surprise to you, but yesterday we received some news that I had to touch on. So this is breaking news. This is a breaking news broadcast, and it's going to be a little bit different. So first, I will say that everyone can still put their questions in the comments below, and we will be answering them like always. And we also have a giveaway still, because it's world famous, or at least Buchanan famous, giveaway. Our giveaway today is a lucky dollar bill with 4 sevens on it. So make sure to stay tuned in for that, and everyone needs to have just a little bit of luck, especially in our time right now. Also in this episode, we are going to be talking to the excellent Beth Zickafoos Day, and also the awesome Michael Moorhead. But before we get to that, let's get to the weather. In the forecast for Buchanan, we're looking at a high of 53 and a low of 40 today, with showers the most of the day. That is correct, sadly so. But tomorrow, however, we're looking at a high of 69 and a low of 58 with sunshine. Sunday, we're looking also at thunderstorms with a high of 69 and a low of 51. Monday is going to be pretty as well, with a high of 69 and a low of 46. But Tuesday and Wednesday, we have a high of 62 and a low in the 40s. Thursday, we're also looking at some sunshine with a high of 60 and a low of 39. But Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we're looking at showers. I wanted to do something special, especially for today. We have some listeners in from Mississippi, and I wanted to do the broadcast for them as well. So Mississippi, we're looking at sunshine every single damn day, because, you know, while we're having storms and stuff, they're having beautiful weather in the 80s every single day. I mean, today is a high of 80 and a low of 55. I mean, come on. So you guys are lucky, so congratulations for actually having some nice weather. But let's get to the news. In the news, I have nothing. Usually, I actually have everything planned, but because this kind of was a breaking news broadcast, I got nothing. But I do have something little. The concert that we had, the living room concert, has now reached 2,200 views. Everyone can go check that out on the Mountaineer News website, mountaineer.news. And then our interview with Matt and Michael has now hit 1,200 plus views in just 3 days. You have to always celebrate even little, big things, whatever which. And I'm now even getting closer and closer to Coffee Anyone, the hip talk show host that also takes place in Buchanan. That's currently just on a little bit of a hiatus just because of some hate that it was receiving. So we're getting in some good views, and that's awesome. This show is getting more and more popular. We now have merchandise thanks to High Point Athletics. I think that's what exactly their name is. Chad Marsh, we'll just say that. And the Crime of Not Knowing guys, they have another podcast here in town. They are doing a very, very nice job. We have mugs, we have cozies, we have, here soon we might even have shirts. But our biggest thing right now is car decals. So you can expect to see some cars actually with some decals driving along as well. So we're giving them out left and right. So we're becoming more and more popular. So let's get to my guest. The one guest is supposed to be calling in, but decided not to call in at exactly 9:30, so he better be listening and will hopefully call in during today. But my one guest is here. She always is right here for me. My first guest is going to be my campaign manager for any other elections I decide to throw my hat into the ring. And also she helped me expose a lot of people's true colors that are in the community that, were putting on a mask for a very long time. She helped me with that. And my other partner that is supposed to be calling in is the publisher of the Mountaineer News, also my brother and partner, and awesome guy. And he is going to be hopefully on the phone here soon. And then we are going to have a special guest possibly come in. Mr. Matthew Kerner might also call in. So we got a very jam-packed episode as well. But so how are you doing, Beth?
I'm doing great, Daria. Thank you. Thanks for having me here.
Thanks for coming on, and especially on such a short notice. I called Beth first thing this morning at last night, and I said, hey, can we get you on? And you were like, absolutely. And you came in with a handful of cookies and everything, and just coming right on through. Awesome. Yes, I thank you so much for being here, taking the time out of your day. Like I said, my partner is currently over in selling some ads for the Mountaineer News, so he promised me that he would call in, so that should be taking part here shortly. But let's just get straight into the questions. So while I was doing my show yesterday, not a lot of people know this. So while I was doing my show yesterday, I was with the lovely Shauna Jones. You can check that show out right in, actually, if you just click on the description. So while I was doing my lovely show, Matt Kerner chimed in. That's one reason why I wanted to get him back onto the show today. Matt Kerner chimed in with the breaking news that is coming out today. So while I was doing my show, Matt Kerner commented in and said that he now has evidence. I'm reading this straight off a script. It appears that he has evidence that Sheila's close friend, Sheila Lewis Signs, friend Michael Schaefer, was responsible for destroying Matt's signs. So it is under my knowledge from the time that I spoke to Matt the other day, he has physical evidence of stuff that actually was occurring. And so we actually now have evidence that ties Michael Schaefer straight to the vandalizing of Matthew Kerner's signs. Now, I had these pictures up. I wasn't able to get them up today, but we had pictures up. You can also see them on Facebook as well, where Matt Kerner, the two signs there in Tennerton, one is right next to Wendling's. There's one right next to Wendling's, and then one right next to Sam's, or not Sam's Pizza, but one kind of right next to the middle school. And both got vandalized. Both were like a John Deere green, and it was horrible and very sad. So, and of course, a federal offense.
Yes.
So now we officially have evidence. He officially has evidence. The police were contacted, and also during that time, and we can't give out the video right now because it is currently in the hands of police, but there is also a video of some people that were going over to my partner's house and threatening him and telling them that they know where he lives and calling him profanities and his kids and stuff like that. So we also have stuff with that, and that's going to be that's being investigated as well. Again, I cannot reveal that information, and I cannot reveal that video because that is currently in the hands of the police. But as soon as I get the clearance on this show, will be the first place that it is going to be broadcasted, and everything will be broadcasted, and everything will be put out. So right here on the Pros and Cons show. But so what do you think about that? What do you think about them going to that point now?
That's just mind-blowing to me. I know that you were accused at one time of vandalizing signs, and I knew that you didn't have anything to do with it, but for someone to actually do it, it's just so childish and immature. But you also have to consider the source. I'm sorry that the negativity, the hate, it's just mind-boggling to me.
And going to that point, I mean, whether you like a candidate or not, it doesn't
Yes.
matter if you like a candidate or not. I mean, it's an offense. You can't.
Absolutely.
You shouldn't go out there and steal signs, and you shouldn't go out there and
No.
vandalize signs.
No, absolutely.
So, I mean, that's very, very sad. But now Sheila or her campaign has been very close to him. There actually are pictures out there, which there are physical pictures. This is not just me saying it. There is
Yes.
physical evidence of where she was out there telling him how much he loved her and how close of a friend they are and how close she is to him. Really making it seem like, she had something with it. And her campaign has been rocked with nastiness. So, a lot of people are pointing right now. Again, there's no confirmed, so I'm not giving out any confirmed news, but a lot of people are pointing right now. But not only has this happened, but her own family has made threats on top of that, sent out messages saying that they wish they never came across anyone or came across her, or they were going to, beat them up. Her, friends are doing vandalism. She even got called, or the police were called as well for harassment against another candidate. That's also that is public knowledge as well. Is this really what we want in the city?
Not at all. And I was going to say, it's one thing to destroy a sign or vandalize a sign, but whenever, and that being a federal offense, and I'm not making light of that, but when you actually threaten somebody, go by their house and threaten their family, and that's a whole different league as far as I'm concerned. Federal offenses, vandalizing a sign, which isn't good, but then to threaten someone and their family, and this is all over politics. I think I mentioned to you this morning, we may as well be at a national level. This is the most the city election has ever garnered this much attention ever.
We have officially, with this city election, we have officially turned into the Kardashians, or
I
either
believe you're
or
right.
Jersey Shore.
Jersey Shore. Yes, you're right.
Actually, you know what? It's more like Hell's Kitchen.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
honestly where we're at. All we need is a Gordon Ramsay, and maybe something would happen. Actually, that's what I propose. So, Mayor McCulley or whoever's watching, let's do
yes.
Hell's Kitchen. We have
Let's
enough
do
people.
it.
We have enough people because I think at the beginning there's like 17 people compete. Well, if you count in the
Yes.
15 people running for city council, then you count in the 2 people that are running for mayor. Then you also do have the couple people that are running for Board of Education, so we can include them in as well. And we'll just have a Hell's Kitchen episode.
It's a
Try to
great
get a hold of Gordon Ramsay and just see
Brilliant
if
idea.
if we can have a Hell's Kitchen episode, Buchanan City Council edition.
Brilliant. Let's do that.
So I think that will at least have something. But my next question also is, isn't this actually the man, the myth, well, actually, not the man, the myth, just not even a legend or anything, Caden, isn't
No.
this actually really Caden's brigade? I mean, he brings out the...
I believe that we're a lot of it begins right there. That's where it started, and he's certainly been the one to throw logs on the fire, shall we say.
And he tries to bring out, like, the worst in people.
Yes.
And, when is this outrage and this, crap going to really actually stop?
That's a good question, dearie, and I wish I knew the answer to it. I was scrolling down through not only the article that he put out about myself, but it's so obvious that he is so right-wing conservative. And that's only whenever he's telling the facts, because he's also been known to lie, flat out lie. He did in the article about me, flat out lied about it in there. But people will read this and believe that it's the gospel, and it's not at all. But it actually starts with him. He is he keeps the fire stirring.
The crap stirring.
Yes, he does. The crap stirring.
That's the best way to put it. And one thing that I did want to also mention is, do you think that Carnes has something to do with this?
I would be surprised. I know that they are close, and certainly
Very close.
yes, Caden
Very
certainly
close.
has put out his glorified articles, which he's, if you're on Caden's side, you get all the glorified articles, but I don't know. I don't know that he would be. I don't doubt that Caden isn't capable of doing this all on his own. There's no doubt. Now, not to say, I don't know who all might be in cahoots with him, but I really truly don't know. But I do know that he is the one, and I know a couple others for sure. But I certainly can't speak for Robert Carnes. I don't know that at all.
And I do want to mention one thing. If you know who, Mike Kids got, that if he's watching, or anyone is watching that has to do with that, I want to publicly say that this show is registered. This show is, has been copyrighted. So. And nothing can be taken from this show. So if you try to go out there and steal my stuff, well, then you'll be also met at your door with a whole bunch of lawyers. So I'm happy to say that this show is officially registered because I made sure, because I knew that, the type of stuff that he does and the type of stuff that this kind of goes through. So, yeah, this show, everything's copyrighted, everything's trademarked. There's nothing that can be stolen. Only people that can watch it in enjoyment because... that's what this show is meant to do, not to stir. And to also get out knowledge that people need to know, and things that people need to have in mind, and people need to also consider. So, now one thing I did want to bring up, because I was speaking about Carnes, my mother actually a long time ago ran against Bill Hamilton. I don't know if not a lot of people know that. And through the whole entire campaign, it was completely and totally civil. There was no mud throwing.
What a novel idea.
Everything was perfect. Both met as friends. Both are still friends. Bill, whenever I see him anywhere, we are best friends.
Yes.
So, Bill is an awesome guy.
Indeed.
Sue is an awesome guy, or awesome girl as well. His wife. And, and they all ran the cleanest of campaign, and then you have Caden going up there and trashing him.
Yes.
So the people that he doesn't want to trash, that he's closest with, like Carnes, that go out there and do the trashing. So Carnes is always out there trashing someone, always out there poking his nose somewhere. But then you have someone like Bill Hamilton, an awesome guy like Bill Hamilton, that's trying to keep nice and civil and run a perfect campaign.
Yes.
So, why do people do this? Why can't we just be civil? Like my mother and Bill Hamilton, and even our whole entire family.
That is a great question, Daria. And I learned to profess to be the Christian that he professes to be.
He is. He's an awesome guy, and like I mentioned on yesterday's show, anytime that I see him, he comes over. Hey, young man, how are you doing? We're always we sit and just talk, and before anyone says that, well, it matters if you meet Carnes. I have met Carnes. I sat down and had a conversation with Carnes, so I know both of them. So I have met both of them. I've sat and talked with both of them, and hands down, Bill Hamilton is a very nice guy. And then you have Caden and Carnes trying to trash them.
He is a nice guy. He is, indeed, he is. I think that myself personally, being a Christian, I kept going back. Whenever I was your campaign manager, I kept going back to love one another and love thy neighbor, and it always came down to that. There's no exceptions to that. He didn't put any exclusions, and I just wouldn't be able to claim to be a Christian and profess so much hate. Alone stir it.
I just got also I got a text message in from a viewer, so we will contact that.
All
And I do want to put this out here just real quick. You can text in if you don't feel comfortable having your comments out there. You can text in, but I prefer to have comments because I always kind of keep a really close eye on that. But if you do want to text in a question and you want to do it privately, the number is 304-460-5146. Our phone lines are open. You can also call, and we can try to put you on, but we do not... it always kind of matters. We might be in the middle of a question. But I did get a text message in from a viewer. How has Caden's antics damaged the conservatives?
Well, I believe that people would think that we're all that way. Just for instance, like everyone seems to think you're a radical Muslim, and that's not the case at all. And I keep going back to the same verse of loving one another. Whenever I had some confrontations right prior to Christmas, the Christmas dinner, I was asked about being your campaign manager by a Christian, by someone that I've known for a long time. And I mentioned that it was a nonpartisan election and was told that it didn't matter. And I really wondered about that. I wondered about it that night. I prayed about it. But I still felt as adamant in my stand as she did in hers. I can't see how hate would be the road. Jesus didn't hate. I think of the Good Samaritan. The Samaritans were looked down upon, were more subhuman, so to speak, and Jesus was the one that met her at the well and talked to her, and I just can't see where hate would be the route.
Yeah. I also have another question. Let's see. Question here. What is Caden's, this is from a viewer, what's Caden's end game? He has turned some people into monsters. That's a good question.
That is a good question. I wish I knew his end game. Do you know his end game?
To make sure that kids are not gay, maybe? I mean...
What is his end game? That is a great question. I do not know. I wish I knew. Maybe we should get him on here. And ask him.
I can actually I'll mimic exactly how that is going to end up going. So ask me a question, Beth. You are me right now, and ask me a question about anything. You go nuts. Something good, something catchy. Not to put you on the spot, but I'm going to do an exact how that interview is probably going to go. So go on ahead.
What do you feel about the election being changed, or that the record delta and that not following through with the election, with the candidates' night?
Well, here's the problem, people. The problem is that the record delta is making kids gay. Now, that's the only problem. And the thing is, they're saying everybody can be gay here, and that's the thing, people.
So that's going to be exactly what's going to end up happening.
That's exactly right. Yes. Or as many times, I don't hate anyone, but there's always a but coming after that. I don't hate anyone, but I wish I had $1 for every time someone told me that.
It's nuts. It is absolutely nuts. I also wanted to mention here, I have so many conservative friends, including yourself,
yes.
Allison Harrison, that's why I did the
Yes.
Mississippi weather earlier was for her. So she's a very big fan of the show. She listens in
She's a great
every
lady.
single
Great
episode.
gal.
So I love you, Allison. I hope everything's going great. She told me the other day that she was very bored because she's kind of stuck into her house.
She
because
wants
of,
to get up here and see that new grandbaby.
Yeah, we need to get her up there. We'll start a
Yes.
hashtag bring Allison
Yes,
back.
bring Allison back.
But I have so many conservative friends, and they are very angry at Caden. They actually pretty much hate Caden, and they do not
Yes.
like Sheila because of what they are doing. and the constant hate that they are spreading.
Stirring all the time.
What would you say about that?
Well, not knowing prior to December or being your campaign manager, I wasn't familiar with him, and my first encounter with him talking online on Facebook, actually, he twisted those words around and played spin doctor. But I do have one regret from your campaign that has nothing to do with you or being the campaign manager, and that was a regret of something that I told Caden, and I told him I wasn't going door to door. And I regretted saying that. I did say it. I'll take responsibility for it. But he also gave me the power to just stand further into the ground. And part of me wanted you to just continue running just so I could be sure going door to door. And hopefully I might come to his house because let's say, hey, I was wrong about that. And at least I admit it. But
I will give Caden one thing.
Okay.
I will give him one thing, and that's the only thing I'm going to give him. First off, actually, two things. I've shaken his hand before, and may I say that man has very, very soft hands. So whatever moisturizer that man uses, I need to get some of that because,
right.
I mean, that and also he's
Right.
probably never worked. So that also probably helps
yes.
because I'm pretty sure typing does not really hurt the hands.
Yes.
But so that's the first thing I'll give him. And the second thing I'm going to give him is if it wasn't for him, this show wouldn't have started. The living room concert wouldn't have happened. Mountaineer News wouldn't have started because, we all started because we knew that something had to happen. Someone needed to stand up. The Joker was making, not Gotham, because Buchanan's, of course, way more beautiful than Gotham City. But, there was the Joker in Gotham. And I'm not meaning like the Jack Nicholson Joker. I'm meaning like Jared Leto or Jason Leto or whatever his name was. The worst movie ever. That type Joker was in Buchanan. And Batman, which is the Mountaineer News and this show and even Coffee Anyone and everything else, all went up and said, okay, this is we're done. And they all were the Batman that stood up and said, okay, we are done. This has gotten silly. And so many people have backed us, including conservatives, liberals, whatever, to prove that we all are put on this earth for a reason, and us just going out there and attacking each other is just silly.
It is silly. And I knew that it was so much more. After Sheila asked me at the bicentennial and the Christmas dinner, and when I said that it was a nonpartisan election, and it was actually a joke between you and I about you being a libertarian or a Democrat and you being a Republican, but it's so much more than that because the bottom line is, first and foremost, we're all human, regardless of politics. You're my fellow human being. You're my friend, and I wanted to stand on that principle alone, regardless of who's a Democrat, who's a Republican. It didn't matter, and it just became stronger. I felt strong in my stance, but it became stronger whenever I became amazed at their retaliation, their hate. But I also want to point out what all was started when you mentioned what all became of Cadence, what came out of that with Mountaineer News and Coffee Anyone, and all of that was done with love and respect and unity, and we can all just get along. And I'm not sure where theirs comes from, why that hate is there, or why that narrow-mindedness is there, or what Sheila has. I don't understand it. I don't understand how you can profess to be a Christian and skip right over the second commandment. How do you ignore that? There's no exceptions to loving everybody. It doesn't say except if he's a Muslim or except if he's... We're to love everybody, period. The end. That's the end of the story. And I see so many different Bible quotes that they'll want to put up to try and use their advantage whenever they'll skip right over that commandment.
Yeah. And, one thing that I wanted to bring up, right now there's the biggest talk in town. The current, one of the biggest things right now is either the Buchanan rag,
Yes.
Buchanan values,
Yes.
Buchanan B officially was shut down. So that's a very good thing. So
That
Buchanan
is.
B. And then, of course, the one, the only
Mountaineer
Journal. And the thing is, people are going, heavy after the rag, which is rightfully so. It does go overboard.
Yes.
It does go overboard a lot,
Indeed.
and it's attacked actually some people that I've had contact with here recently, and have really talked to, and they've gone a little bit too far
Yes.
in a lot of cases with that. But the thing is, the rag goes and does the same thing that Buchanan Values has done, and the same thing that Mountaineer Journal has done. So the fact of the matter is, the only difference is Buchanan Rag and Buchanan Values didn't have a name on it.
Right.
Just because Caden put his name on it, don't you agree that it doesn't really matter? That, really, whether you put your name on it or you don't put your name on it, trash is trash.
Yes.
It's like me going out there, taking a garbage can and putting it out on the front. It doesn't matter if my neighbors and I got it switched. It's still trash.
Yes.
It's still going to the same exact place. It's still being squished down and lit on fire and all that other different types of stuff. It's both still trash.
And I look at his more than a blog. There's no other news going on. There's nothing from both sides. There's nothing else. It all leans his way and his way only.
He went after you. He goes after, not only does he go after people that are on the liberal side, he goes after his own friends. He went after you. He went after Elisa Mills. Elisa Mills.
I know,
She is the
seriously.
biggest conservative.
Yes, she is.
Shout out to Elisa. But yeah, she is out there doing, she carries around, she has stickers on her car. She's got,
Yes.
Trump,
Yeah, the Trump pin stickers, the Christmas.
she's got everything. And one of my favorite times that she pranked us one day, she decided that she wanted to put a Trump sticker on our car, and we didn't realize it. So
Sorry, I missed it.
we are on the way home, and people are honking, and we have no clue what's going on. Had no clue, and she put it in a place that we couldn't see it. Had no clue. So we're driving home, and then we look down. I get outside. I'm like, why are so many people honking at us? Are they so happy that Dr. Khan is going home? What's going on here?
Deal? Yeah.
And I went over, and I looked down, and there was a sticker, Trump sticker, right on the very front. And I had no clue it was there.
Doing that. I'm sorry I missed that.
And I called her immediately, and I was like, Lisa, people were honking, and she was like, yeah. And that proves that it doesn't matter if you are liberal or if you are conservative or what it is. Just have fun. Just
Yes.
take care of each other. And
Absolutely. And you're laughing about it. We have
Yeah.
that respect. You even said there at Christmas, 2 of the biggest Republicans in the county are on my campaign with me, and that's true, but we have that respect and the unity and the love, and there's no hate. There's no hate.
And that goes with all this whole entire election. A lot of people might say, well, I'm doing kind of the same thing that Caden's doing. Well, the fact is that we just need to shut all of these. I'm not meaning myself, because I'm going out here
Yes.
and I try to actually just have fun and make,
Yes.
I'm just making fun of it. And anything that I'm
Yes.
putting out here has been fact checked over and over and over. Not I get mad and I suddenly decide, okay, I'm going to type up something, or I'm going to go after like the Mountaineer Journal does. Everything has been fact checked. Everything that I have said, even in the news segments and everything, are fact checked. And the whole entire point of the show is just to ask opinions of like yourself. And I just got a call in from a special guest that wants to call in, so we're going to bring him on in a couple seconds too. To just ask opinions, and that's. I don't call myself a journalist in any which shape, form, or fashion. I don't call that at all. But true journalism is you go out there and you get other people's ideas and you do a story, or you broadcast out with you having like 5 different sources saying that is the way it is, that is the way this is, and that is the way that is.
Yes.
and then you give that out to the people. That is true journalism.
Yes. His is more of a blog.
Yeah, it honestly is just a blog.
Yeah.
I mean, Mountaineer News, not to keep plugging Mountaineer News through this whole entire thing, but Mountaineer News is conservatives, moderates, libertarians, liberals. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
And I know some people would say, well, it needs to be shut down too because it's just, you know, a liberal blog. It's not. It's for everyone. This show is for everyone.
Absolutely.
I don't just, like, whenever Caden had his podcast, he would only bring on Republican,
Yes.
extreme Republican senators or extreme Republican people. That's just, you're just completely tilting. That's not the
Yes.
point of a broadcast. That's not the point of anything like that. That is the point is, especially of this show, you know, my goal is people can listen in, especially during these rough times of quarantine and everything. They can hear about their weather for the day. They can hear some news jokes of me just first thing in the morning typing out some crap and just putting it onto the page and just making fun of it. And it doesn't matter if it's Joe Biden or if it's President Trump. It's just, you know,
Yes, absolutely.
everything for everyone. That's
Yes.
the way it needs
for
to
all
be.
free game.
Yeah, for everything. No one is off the list there.
That's right.
And then if it's something like today where we have the emergency broadcast type of thing, you know, I go out here and I'm saying stuff that I will get to my guest. He's currently calling in. I will get to you just in a couple seconds. I'm not going to give away the name yet, but we will get there right after actually our giveaway. During our giveaway time, I'll connect everything in. But the news that I'm saying today is stuff that, you know, the police are currently taking care of it. It's something that's in our town that needs to be brought up. And if, you know, a liberal side was doing the same exact thing, I would be sitting here doing the same exact broadcast. So many will say, oh, you're only going after conservatives.
No.
I am not. It is who is doing it, and that's currently what's happening.
Right.
Or I'm only going after the conservative candidates. Well, that's who's doing it, so I can't just go up here and lie and say, okay.
Yes.
Then it's 50-50. I have to
It is what
actually
it is.
say what is being reported. So, I mean, that's
Indeed.
the way it is.
Indeed.
So, well, after that whole entire rant, we'll continue on.
All right.
Why do some people in town, specifically politicians, still hire Caden to do, you know, stuff for them? I mean, some actually seem like campaign managers. Some are having him work at their businesses. I mean, they're just getting. It's like the Titanic, but instead of Caden being the Titanic, it's a little tugboat. But you know, the Titanic going down. It's like, why would they?
I believe, with all due respect, ignorance is bliss. I don't think that they know any better. Their eyes haven't been open to it. They aren't aware of it or choose not to see it. And I think I'll give him a little credit. He may, I don't know if I want to go as far as to say speak eloquently or write eloquently, but he writes in a believable way where people will believe it. And you know, we all seek articles that we want to believe.
Yeah.
But I have noticed with you and with Mountaineer News and with your father and Spike on Coffee Anyone, you all have, like you said, liberals, conservatives, nobody's off limits. The invitation or the extension was made, and that's, you know, none of that was ever done in Mountaineer Journal. He didn't even contact me about that article of mostly lies about me, and where did you get that info? But people believe because it's there in print that it must be true. And he's obviously have some people buffaloed, and maybe we only see what we want to see, you know.
Yeah. And that also kind of brings me into my next question. And this is a God honest question. Why is, I mean, in particular, Sheila so hateful? According to her, it is because she considers us children. I mean, it is honestly like Caden is speaking through not only her, but it's like a tag team. Like Caden speaks through her, she speaks through Caden, and I mean it's destroying campaigns.
I don't understand it at all whatsoever. I don't know if it's the mindset of just not knowing any better, or, she wants to say that there's no hate here in Buchanan, and that there's a certain group, which I assume that she's talking about us, that's just trying to stir that up. And is that not the pot calling the kettle black? We didn't start any hate, we didn't stir any hate, but I'm not sure where the mindset comes, let alone to profess to be the Christian that she claims to be. Regardless of that, I'm not sure where the mindset comes from.
And not only that, but you can't go out there and still say hate is not here, but then go out there and at the same time say Muslims don't need an office because all they're going to do is stab us and kill us and make an agenda and all that type of stuff. And it's like, what?
Yes. That one day, I remember particularly, it was just back and forth all day with her post between the LGBTQ and the Muslims. It was just back and forth, back and forth. I'm not sure where that comes from.
And then, I mean, going to the point of even attacking voters. I mean, that's where we're at right now. Is she went to the point she was going up on comment sections saying, if I ever ran into you, then it would be your... I mean, just a whole bunch of stuff. And it's like, come on.
She told me I will regret this.
And, I mean, one in particular, and I won't mention his name, but he's a very prominent man in our community. And she was going up there saying that... I don't care if you or your friends don't vote for me or you. As a politician, you do not ever go out there and say, you know what, I'm going to threaten you or I'm going to do this. Or it's like, you can't do that. And she was going up there and actually threatening him, like actually saying, you are nothing to me and you, I hope our paths never cross and stuff like that. As a politician, and many will say, "Oh well, it's because she's trying to fight for us." Well, there's fighting, as in I'm going to stand for my people, and fighting, as in I'm just going to go out and stand with pitchforks.
Right.
And that's not what we need. That, and saying, "Okay, I'm going to stand up for everyone," but then also just only standing up for that a certain little slim
just that's
amount.
Yes.
So, but to my next question, even moderate conservatives are fed up with their antics. Is this not going to end up hurting them? Isn't Caden kind of a godsend for liberals?
I believe you're onto something there, Daria. I believe that we reap what we sow. We reap what we sow, and I'm not sure what their intentions are. They're running off, like you said, the liberals. They're making everybody angry, both sides, and I just don't understand the hate and professing to be a Christian. And I think that I relate along that line because I profess to be a Christian, and I've studied different articles about Muslims and Christians, but every article always went back to the same thing. We're to love everybody, period. That's the bottom line, Darian.
I mean, to speak kind of in the fact of Christianity, the fact is that, God even said, love your neighbor, not love your neighbor, but.
Exactly.
Love your neighbor, but that guy over there.
Right.
Love your neighbor, but that guy with a darker color.
They believe there's some buts added onto there. There's exceptions to that, and that's not the case at all. And he also says that you can't profess to love me and hate your neighbor.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
My next question, speaking about the whole Carnes and everything, I would love to get Pitzenberger on the show. If he's endorsed by Bill Hamilton, he's of course, awesome for me. And,
sure.
If he's listening or someone that knows him is listening, I would absolutely love, to have him on. I want to get him. It's not to push someone or to say anything, but I want to get his ideas out there. That's my main goal. Even if Carnes wanted to come onto this show, I would be completely fine with it. But like I said, I have met him. I have talked to him at armory dinners and stuff. So he might not, of course, remember me because he meets with being a politician. He probably meets a lot of guys, especially with his residence in Florida. But he won't mention that one. Right. But I would love to actually get him on and especially Pitzenberger, and sit and talk. But
that's so good of you, though, dear. Just like whenever you were still running for city council, time after time, you extend, an invite. Let's meet for coffee. Let's meet and sit down and talk. There's so much more than the hate that's being spewed on social media.
Yeah.
And you're always open-minded enough to do that. And, just like we've talked about before with your dad and yourself and Allison and Rodney and what could have been adversaries. Now you all are really great friends, the four of you. And that's four adults and four open-minded people that got together. And we aren't, like you've always said to me, there's more common ground than we realize. It's not near as divided as what social media makes it out to be.
I do want to mention this, actually, speaking of Allison again. I had a 3-hour conversation with her the other night. We sat down and talked for a good while about everything that's going on. And, that whenever we had our talk about, the differences between Christianity and the Muslim religion and stuff like that, and how it's actually very, very similar. Very similar, but a lot of people don't actually realize it. They don't take the time, they just Google stuff and go off of Google, which Google is
Caden's blogs.
Yeah, Caden's blogs, and they try to go off of that stuff, and they don't actually realize that. And she even had received some backlash for coming onto the show with me. So,
well, that's a shame.
It's sad that
sad.
that is what people are to the point of doing. But, at the same time, it doesn't surprise me because it's like that email that I got saying, we didn't forget about 9/11, so you're not going to go in. Well, I was 5 months old during that happened.
Living in Buchanan.
And not only that, but, which I famously say, I am the Tropicana orange juice of Muslims. The Tropicana, like 50 calorie type of thing. Tropicana, whatever you want to say, but I'm like that. What I am is I'm watered down orange juice that still claims as orange juice,
right.
but really is just watered down pulp. So that's the fact of the matter. But people don't want to. And my father is that way. A lot of my father's family that way. Of course, there are some that are a little bit more serious, but still, our goal is not to go out there and start, blowing stuff up or stuff like that. Our goal is to care for everyone. I mean, even a lot of people in his family.
Well, if you're radical, you're about the worst ones ever. And it takes you many, many, many decades.
You could, with the way that my campaign started, you would think I went out there and tried to say, like, during Strawberry Festival, let me ride with a horse and cut people's hands off.
Seriously,
that's honestly
stick
what
your
people
hand
thought.
Up. Yes.
Okay, you're eating a double fried Twinkie. No, your hands are gone.
Yep, gone.
It's like, come on. Or a pickle that is like a foot long. Oh, your hands are gone.
Yes. Well, I knew that. I'm not sure of the words I'm looking for. I knew that you weren't the average candidate when right off the bat, the very first question on social media was your feelings on abortion.
Oh, yeah. That was the first thing.
No other candidate for city council has ever been asked about their feelings on abortion.
It's like, okay, you're running for Board of Education. How do you feel about immigration? It doesn't matter!
Right.
It doesn't go into it!
Right. There's just not much you can do there, but I was amazed that right off the bat, that was the first question asked of you. And no other city council candidate has been asked that same question since then. So what's that tell you?
Also, my feelings on gun control. Well, here's my feelings on gun control. I carry one next to me 24/7.
Right.
And
Yes.
especially with the type of people that are out
I was
there,
gonna say,
24/7.
reason. That's right. With good reason.
All right. Well, I think I want to just start into our giveaway because
Okay.
there's currently someone that is on the phone line that a special guest that I
Waiting
wanted to bring
patiently.
in, and I just want to bring him. I know I'm sorry for the wait, buddy. I know you're listening in right now. I'm sorry for the wait, buddy. I just I want to bring you in during a time that our mics are off and I can adjust everything. Compared to if everything's on, and then people are going to suddenly have either you very, very soft or very, very loud. So I want to make sure that everything is perfect before we go back on. So we have a very good question today and a very good thing that we're giving away. So again, the thing that is being given away is a dollar bill with 4 sevens on it. It's a lucky dollar
Y'all
bill.
get ready.
It's considered a lucky dollar bill. And it can be shipped. It doesn't have to be picked up, so don't worry if you live in a separate anywhere. All you have to do is just text in your address right after if you win. Very, very simple. It'll be sent straight to you. And actually, the only thing that you have to do is at home is take a picture of yourself holding holding our logo. So I will send you a logo, and you don't even have to do anything. You take a picture of yourself with your prize, and you take a picture, and we will put it up on the internet. That's all you have to do. It's
Wonderful.
that simple, and you win. So
Get ready to Google.
yes, get ready to Google.
Yes.
Okay, and then we'll get back with and also get to our comment section.
Okay.
Too. We got a lot of comments in. I saw a comment saying that I smelled like an old shoe. I don't know where that one's coming in, but I guess we'll also address that
Can't
one too.
wait.
But the question is, get to this. What year did they take cocaine out of Coca-Cola? Again, what year did they take cocaine out of Coca-Cola? This is a comment section question, and just comment your answer in. let's hit just a couple of comments. It is not 63. It is not 1915. And it is not 1929. However, you guys are getting closer. All are too high. I will give you that. But it was in the 1900s. Yeah, you're still a little too high. It is, I'll give this hint. It is in the 19 and then single digits. It's not for we don't have someone just texting in every single year. It is not, it is in the single digits. So that is the hint for that one. And again, the question is, what year did they take cocaine out of Coca-Cola? So comment in, and then we'll get also to our special guest. Chad Marsh, I want to point something out. It's not in the 60s. It's in the single digits. And what I mean by that is either 1 through 10. So it's the 1900s and 1 through 10. So comment your answers in. And you can't, if you go up there and text every single year, I'm not going to count that right. All right, we got a winner. Cody Peterson. I said it 5 times to make sure I said it right, and I still couldn't say it right. So yes, Cody Peterson, you are the winner. So you do have to just do one thing for me. Text in your address, and I will ship that dollar bill out to you immediately.
Yay, Cody.
So, yeah, so it will be sent out immediately. You don't have to worry about shipping costs or anything. I'm not a con man. I will send that right out. And actually, I will ship it today. So it will be immediately out. You don't even have to wait for your prize.
Cody.
It will just be right there. So congratulations. You are a winner.
Yay!
Congratulations with that one. All right, so now let's go into our special guest. And I'm just looking at the comment section. People are constantly calling me Joe Exotic. But yeah, let's go to our comment section. And then we'll also do a special guest that we have in. He's currently calling in from right down Main Street. So let's introduce my special guest. He's currently over the phone, and his gloves never stop swinging. It's Mr. Matthew Kerner. How are you doing, buddy?
Good. How you doing there?
I'm doing excellent. Absolutely excellent. So how's today treating you?
Not bad. It's been kind of a slow day. Had a meeting with the city's building inspector. So we're going to get some work done at Opportunity House, the one on Main Street. So
Perfect.
he's a good guy. I always like to talk to him. He's one of the people that I know that I wish I had to spend more time with.
Awesome. Well, the one biggest reason why I want to bring you in, and the biggest reason why, currently you're the talk of the town, the first thing that I mentioned, which is you received stuff about Mike Schaefer going out there painting your signs, and currently the police are taking care of that. They're currently looking into the situation, and of course we have video evidence of him going out there and also threatening people and going to that point. How do you feel? What's going on?
Yeah. I'm just hoping that we can get past this stuff. I mean, we don't have that much time left until the election, and a lot of these people, we're hung up on that. I mean, and it is. I mean, it's disturbing that he would, run around doing that stuff, especially the threats. The threats that he made to an individual, and it's not just him. I know there's like a whole cabal of individuals who are, working to, make life difficult for other people. I would like to move on to issues, because in all this stuff, outside of this group of people hates gay people and they hate Muslims, they have nothing else. They're empty suits. And I've seen Sheila posted she wants to eliminate regulations on businesses in Buchanan, but she never said what regulations or what's in the purview of a city. I don't think she fully understands the nature of what the city is actually responsible for. And we need to talk about that stuff. That's the stuff that's important. I know a couple weeks ago, the school system distributed over 55,000 meals in this community. So that's, if it wasn't for their work, that's 55,000 meals that children in this community would have missed. And I think we got to start looking at, why is it necessary for the school district to do that stuff? Why are our families not self-sufficient enough that they can handle that stuff on their own? And those are the important things. I mean, we're a national leader in childhood sexual assault, statewide. And this county is no different. I mean, it's like they rape little kids as a sport or something. But we're not going to talk about that. We're going to talk about gay people and Muslims. But, we have two of you guys in this town, and a lot of people think that should be the limit.
Yeah.
You're not exactly horribly religious. So I think we need to, what I've been trying to do is shine a light on that, shine a light on the bigotry, shine a light on the hate, because it's pointless. I mean, we have this whole Facebook group of people who are doxing people. They put Michael Moorhead's address online, which triggered Schaefer to go out there and, threaten his whole family. So, I know there's some, law enforcement's on top of that, and that'll all be resolved eventually. But in the meantime,
now there is.
We need to talk about the important things.
And one thing I did want to bring up. How do you feel about? There's actually two things that has happened. First off, there was I think you put it up on your slideshow. If you go back to whenever you, put up the, the gloves were off, that live stream. How do you feel about Sheila going up there and like telling Mike Schaefer, I love you so much. You're absolutely awesome. You're one of my biggest, contributors for my campaign and stuff like that. And then he goes out and he does this stuff. And then you have Caden going out there and posting this type of stuff and posting, me leaning up against the Twin Towers and everything else. And then she goes out there and does a public statement, which anyone can find this, but does a public statement where she goes out there and says that she absolutely loves Caden and how awesome he is because he's going out there and putting this stuff out there. What do you feel about that?
Well, I think it shows that what they have going on is a team effort. It's not. None of this is happening in isolation, and it's whether they are giving explicit instructions or they're coordinating but not saying, well, this is how this is going to go, because obviously he's got experience in doing this for other candidates. Cowder did this to me when I ran against Robbie Martin 2 years ago. So we have the screenshots of him saying, I am the PR person for Robbie Martin. He took a 25-minute video that I did explaining my stance on abortion, which you're right, in a city election is silly to even have that discussion. It's a waste of time. But, it did matter at the state level. I spent 25 minutes explaining my stance. It's almost identical to the United Methodist Conference stance on abortion. He clipped out 4 seconds, made it seem like I was saying the exact opposite of what I was saying. And, nobody that he was working for, expressed any opposition, any regret for that. And we're seeing that in this election. I mean, he goes out and does stuff as part of this team, and then, like Jack Rieger and Sheila Stein say, well, I'm not going to engage in this mudslinging. Well, one, you both already did because you post his stuff. Sheila started this before I even started running, because of the, her hatred of gay people. We had a drag queen event hosted at one of my centers, and these people, we were actually going through a real rough financial time, or situation at that time, and they did a drag show and raised over $1,000 for us, and kept the lights on at Opportunity House until we could get everything corrected. And from our perspective, as people in recovery from substance use disorders, we can identify with them as being marginalized population. Because the same things that get said about LGBTQ people, like they made a decision to be the way they are exactly what people who are uninformed and have no idea tell us. Well, you chose to be an addict. No, that's not how any of that works.
Yeah.
So that just lose track of where I was going. But they're looking at their team. They can't deny what one of them does because it's all coordinated and it's all intentional. So they want to try to distance themselves from that, but that's not possible. It's exactly the same, and this is learned stuff. These people are educated. I've watched them. I've seen them interact with people like Alan Witt from the Family Policy Council. If you look at the Family Research Council's website, Family Research Council has been designated as a hate group for a long time by the Southern Poverty Law Center. The West Virginia Family Policy Council is, while they are not legally connected, they act as the Family Research Council's agent in West Virginia.
Yeah.
And they're not connected legally or financially, so that in the event that one of them gets sued and loses, the other one's finances are shielded. So it's all semantics. So for somebody like Sheila to say, I'm not responsible for what Caden does, is a complete and utter load of shit.
And not only that, but he's also out there.
Same thing with Jack
filming.
Rieger, and even, maybe to a lesser degree, but still similarly, it's really, really, really disappointing for me to see, Robbie Skinner get connected to this stuff, and he'll send private messages to people. Oh no, I don't believe what he says. I think what he does is wrong, but he won't make a public statement about that. I don't know if it's because he's a coward and he's afraid of those people, or because he's giving silence. He's condoning what they do.
And to put that,
but again, wants to distance himself when it's convenient. Why would you send private messages like that? Because you know me. If something like that happens and that offends me, I'm going to tell everybody. And I believe that these people lack integrity. If you look in the dictionary, the second definition for integrity is a state of being undivided. And that's exactly what happens when you tell one group of people something, but you say something else to someone else. I say the same thing to everybody. I'll say it to people. I won't talk about somebody without saying it to them. And I've done that. And these people are trying to weasel around behind the scenes and say, oh, I'm not responsible for what he said. Well, no, but you benefit from it, and you don't denounce it.
Well,
so you're complicit.
He's also, it is confirmed that he is filmed for Sheila's campaign. So he has a lot to do with Sheila's campaign. And she's gone out there and publicly said that she absolutely loves him and stuff like that. So that's, it's very clear with that. And, whenever we hit on Skinner, or talking about Skinner, I would love to have Skinner on. So again, anyone that's listening in that knows Skinner, that can tag him in this, tag him in the comments section. It actually works. He will hear this exactly right at that point. Skinner, I would love to have you on. I would love to sit and get the word out. Like with all politicians and with everyone I have on this show, I send you the questions about 1 hour before we go live. The reason why I do that is because I want you to be able to have your questions and know what you're going to say. I don't believe in gotcha questions. I think it's very silly to have gotcha questions or ask you questions right on, right smack, because if you say something, it's better that you have an hour to think about the question and know how you're going to respond, because if you say it and people don't like it, then that's, you feel comfortable with what exactly you said, compared to, you having to worry if you say something, if it might, or if, later on you might think, oh, I didn't mean to say it that way or anything like that. You already have exactly what you want to say, write down on paper, and you're ready to go, right smack in the beginning. And so I'd love to have you on. People tag him if you would like to, if you have, or if you are friends with him. And let's get him on. I won't hit or try to bash or anything like that. I just want to get the word out. If you are not together, or if you are not in coordination with Caden, then right here, and we can set the record straight, know exactly what's going on. You can call in or sitting from your desk, or you can come right in. Both ways we follow guidelines, and both ways we make sure everyone's safe. So I would love to have you on, Mr. Skinner. Of course, we've had the mayor on, and I would love to get your side on. And we got your cousin on, Mike Bodner, actually, in one episode. So I'd love to have you on. But I think we're going to hit the comments section, Matt. So thank you so much for calling in, buddy. Is there anything else that you would like to touch on?
No, that's it. Keep up the good work. It's nice to, for a long time, I think people in the community have felt like if you stand up to people like this, this cabal of people that, they have their own little Facebook group thing going on, where they all communicate and they're all proud of the bigoted, racist stuff that each other does. And people in this community were afraid to stand up to them. And I think that if we provide leadership and we show that, they're basically hot air, that we will, we will change that dynamic. Because, again, physically this is a beautiful town, and for 99% of the people in the community, they're wonderful people, and we have this loud opposition group, who wants to hold us in the dark ages, or even go backwards with basically a radical agenda. They want to stop the progress of this community, and I think that if enough of us stand up to them, other people will be encouraged to do so. It's just basic group dynamics. And it's not the first person that stands up that makes a change, and it's not the second. But once you get a small group of people working, other people feel safe doing that. And they know that they have a group that won't abandon them, and we need to create that group.
Yep. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, buddy.
All right. Take good to yourself.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yeah, that was Matt Kerner, ladies and gentlemen. Absolutely love whenever he calls in. He's an awesome guy. Very awesome guy. All right, let's get to our comment section. Let's get straight into it. Let's see. We're starting at the very, very top. So 1 hour ago, so hope you guys are still listening. We answer everything. Hi, Millie. Love you. Yes, I saw Millie Hawkins was on here as well. Love Millie. Love her family. Love Robin Simons. Love all of her family. My father, no campaigns in the future. Well, we'll see about that. Robin Simons, love Beth. She is awesome. Tell her I love the pink raincoat this morning. She's wearing this awesome pink raincoat. It's kind of a mix of like 80s and modern, and it really looks nice. I love it. That's illegal, not cool to destroy anyone's signs. Whenever we were talking about the signs, yes. It's very sad, but people do. Robin Simons, you'd think City Council pays big bucks for the level of hate and nastiness. It pays peanuts. County commissioners make the big money. Gee whiz, get classy people. That's true. It's sad how much, especially this election cycle. Rick Edwards, love you, buddy. City Council does pay a large amount of taxpayer money to certain groups and organizations. Those groups are wanting to maintain the status quo or enhance such contributions. There it is. Matthew Kerner. I just talked to that guy. Yeah. Bill Hamilton is an admirable guy who has been a tremendous service to our community. I haven't agreed with all of his votes, but I know that he has made those choices from a place of integrity. Yes, he's an awesome guy. Love Bill. Love Bill and Sue. Chad Marsh, Jacob Mills, one of the hosts of the awesome show The Craft of Not Knowing, hates Assad Khan because he thinks he smells funny. Nice plug. Nice plug, Chad. Nice plug. Jacob Mills, smells like a burnt shoe. Hey, I wear a lot of deodorant and a lot of cologne. I have like 5 or 6 different colognes that I've collected over time that I've traveled. So Las Vegas, California, Los Angeles, stuff like that. I go into different shops. Just some of my favorite shops. And I go there and buy different colognes. So I make sure that I don't smell like a burnt shoe unless it maybe the burnt shoe collection. Let's see, Joe Exotic, leave Carol Baskin alone. I don't know if I can do it, but
hey, all you cool cats and kittens.
I don't know if that really. I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, I don't know which one's which though. That's the thing. I mean, Joe Exotic or I don't know if Caden would be Joe Exotic. I mean, Joe Exotic's gay, so it makes sense. But still, I'd see. I actually think Caden would be more of a Carol Baskin because he definitely killed his husband. Let's see, Robin Simons. I love Bill Hamilton and his beautiful wife, Sue. He actually defeated my father, the late Delegate Dale Riggs, after many years in office, but he was respectful, truthful, kind, and classy while doing so. No hard feelings in my family. Yes, he's an awesome guy. The winner of today's show, Cody Peterson. Come on. My comment section jolted. There it is. I love and miss beautiful Buchanan and the beautiful Beth Day.
Oh,
she's right here and she misses you too.
Yes, indeed. I sure do.
This show seems a little liberal. Very little. Very, very little.
Very little.
With a hint of salt.
That's right.
Solar Fabricatory, listening. Thank you for listening in. Chad Marsh, do we have
Yes.
proof that Caden doesn't do this on his own? Is there proof that these people tell Caden to do this stuff? And is there proof? If there is proof, what is it? There's stuff on Sheila's website. There's stuff on Matt Kerner's website. It's kind of everywhere. You kind of have to just kind of look into some stuff. But yes, there is a whole bunch of stuff. I mean, you actually saw him doing recording
Yes.
and working with her for
yes.
many different things. So, yeah, and I mean, like I said, on her website and her political thing. Cody Peterson, it's not that our friends are ignorant, it's just that they know so much that isn't true. I like that.
That's true.
I like that.
That's true.
Matthew Kerner, his website has connection to Carnes. That is true. Companies in Caden's phone is 727 area code. Want to guess where Carnes' business is located? Yeah. Chad Marsh, Matthew Kerner, you could be right, but we are just assuming. And the same with Sheila. Is there proof that she is telling him to write stuff, or is he doing it for themselves? Again, everything can be found on her website. Matthew Kerner, I am right. I've seen the connections, and his phone is easy to find. I have watched him film ads for Sheila. If you hire someone to do your PR, you're accountable for what they do on your behalf. Why don't you bring him on to your podcast and discuss it? Chad Marsh, I have asked. We weren't special enough. He's not going to go on any podcast apart from his own because he's the only one that, it's only him that can bullshit that much. Let's see. Just going to go down. I have some people that guest and stuff. Let's see. Jennifer, hi Assad. Yes, we went to school together. We were in college together. Love and miss you, Jennifer. I wish we could get together. Actually, let's get together after everything's done and over with. I had Shauna on yesterday, actually. Her and I were in Shauna's class. Is it a tiger? They're Joe Exotic. I don't know. Maybe that was earlier. Beth knows my address. Yes. Don't say it. Don't say it. I'll be showing up at her door. Stream's running a little slow, so the comment sections are not wanting to come up. Your prize should have been a line of Coke, Coca-Cola. You need a tiger sate. Wait, I bet you have one. I do not. The one reason why Jennifer says that is because a little bit of an embarrassing story. I'm still in college, of course, but whenever I was a freshman, I was a huge partier. And my nickname, Beth actually doesn't even know this about me, and this is going to be an exposure of, but a lot of people know this. A lot of people at the college know this, but whenever I would go to parties, I wore a money suit. So I have a suit that had pictures of $100 bills all over it with a money tie and everything. And I walked in always with a Cobra cane, and I would party my ass off and then go home later that day, or later that morning, I should say, because I would party until about like 3-4 o'clock in the morning. And it came to the point that my nickname became Dirty Money. So I have the nickname on West Virginia Wesleyan College campus of Dirty Money. So yeah, so I actually do have a money suit, and so that is actually my nickname at college.
Wear that next time.
It doesn't fit me anymore. Of course, I stopped whenever I started getting into nursing because I wanted to put my full, everything into nursing, and then I switched to healthcare administration. Still, I wanted to put everything into my schooling, and I decided to drop partying because I knew that was the best for me. So, yeah. So whenever I was a freshman, whenever things were not too rough, I would party almost every single night over at the different fraternities, and
So what were you, like 12?
17, but so that's what I did. So yeah, that whenever you say I bet you have a tiger suit, that's what she's meaning is I actually
gotcha. I wondered.
every that was my nickname, either that or suede, because I always would wear suede suit jackets. So I was suede or I was Dirty Money. So those are both my nicknames. So for college,
Learn
so
something new.
freshman and sophomore year, if I walk down the hall, I would, hey, it's dirty money, or hey, it's so. Now it's kind of gotten a little bit diluted because I stopped partying, and then a lot of people left, a lot of people graduated, so I don't see them much anymore.
Was Dean Rouleau at the college when you were there? Dean Rouleau?
I don't think so.
No. He was a professor of mine, and
Oh,
I didn't know if you had him or not.
Wesleyan's an awesome school.
It is.
Chad Marsh, what are you talking about? Buchanan loves art. Maybe he was just trying to help the sign. I think that he was. Let's see. Jennifer Kahn for president. Thank you.
Woohoo!
Thank you.
Yes.
And you know who's my vice president?
Yeah.
So, there we have.
Woohoo!
Shane, I did want to get to your comment as well. So unless someone publicly denounces something, we assume they agree with it. No, that is... I wouldn't say that. But what I will say is there has been, and again, I mean, Shane and I are buddies, so I mean, I'll just say it straight. The thing is, Shane, she has actually put out stuff saying that she agrees with it and is completely fine with it. So I wouldn't hit on Mr. Rigger because he actually went out and said that he has nothing. So I wouldn't hit on I wouldn't hit on Jack. Jack is. I would like to get him on the show. Anytime that I've talked to him, he says that he is busy, but he'll find some time. So the thing is Sheila and Caden have, but Skinner has not. So, and I'm not going to assume that he agrees with it because he has said out there that he doesn't. So what I would like to do is actually get him on here because I know he's getting hit very hard. And here's the thing. Here's what I believe in. I know I think we believe in the same thing. Is until someone actually has said something or done something or, has actually went out there and said and gone after someone, I don't believe that they should be hit in any which shape or form. So Skinner has tried to keep very positive, and he's gotten hit, and I know he has. Robbie Skinner and I have met multiple times. I really, really like him. He's a very, very nice guy, right straight down the middle, and he's very, very nice. Now I'm not going to say who I support or whatever else, but I will say I support both Robbie Skinner and Mayor McCauley. Both are excellent candidates. But I know Robbie is getting hit hard, and I know Robbie is being roped into it. I don't agree that he should be roped in. I do not agree in any which way, shape, or form. That's why I do want to get him publicly, because it's not because I'm not assuming that he agrees with it. I just would like him to go, or just even to come on here, or if he doesn't feel comfortable coming on here, go somewhere, because people need to know that he doesn't deserve to be roped in. So, it's not, publicly. It's just I want to make sure that, the way he feels, the way he personally feels is out there. For some of these candidates, that are out there, they have already put out what they feel like, what they want to do, and that's why, as I'm touching on Sheila, I know are some people that are going to listen into this that are Sheila supporters. The thing is, she's publicly put this stuff out there. She's a public figure, and she is running for office, and she's put this stuff out there.
Yes.
And she's put out that she agrees with the stuff Caden does.
Yes.
And I'm going to say that because this is a news source, and I am going to say that. But I have seen that Skinner is being roped in, and I do not like that Skinner's being roped in. And I would love to have him on the show, just because I want to sit here. And like I said, I'll give him the questions right before. Just for I can sit here and say, for Skinner can, for it to be a promotional thing for Skinner as well, where he can actually say, listen, this is silly the way that everything's going. And we can actually get, his full idea right out there and,
Yes.
promote him as well. So
Yes.
that is the way I've always been. And like I said, I really like Robbie Skinner and I really like Mary McCauley. Both are awesome people. And I will say that because now everything is done and over with school, Mary McCauley was actually my professor this past year. So out of anyone, I've probably seen him one of the most. Of course, on the side of city people and all that.
Right.
But I've seen him a lot. Whenever, as a professor, he's a very, very nice guy as well. Very funny. I will say you wouldn't
is
even
funny.
imagine how
He's quick,
funny that guy
too.
is. Very
He's
witty.
quick.
Very, very witty. I mean, the first day that I met him and the first day I was in class, I was like, what the heck is going on with this guy? He's just a crazy man. But it was because he was just so witty and just so...
Yes.
It was awesome. And every single last second was awesome. And then, like I said, I will say nice things about both of them. So,
Yes.
Mayor McCauley is an awesome professor. I've went through with him for stuff for the city. Very, very nice guy. And, he is a very, very nice guy, very, very nice professor. And I can't really say anything bad whenever it comes to like him being a professor and stuff like that. Robbie Skinner, a nice thing about Robbie. I actually, not many people know, or a lot of people know this, but kind of the reason why everything started. Whenever I ran for office, I started getting hit really hard by people just starting to put out false and lies, and that included, and that was Caden. So they were putting out all this different types of crap, and Robbie saw that I was getting hit really, really hard, and he didn't agree with it. So he went out. And at a city council meeting, I was there, and I had met him right before. And right before the city council meeting started, he said, "Can I say a quick word?" And kind of everyone got quiet. And he said, "I want to say something. That currently there's a city candidate out there, and it was during the time that this was before Sheila stuff started coming out, so it definitely wasn't against Sheila. But he said there's a city candidate out there that's currently getting hit hard, really, really badly. And I just want to say, please do not listen to the news that is going out there. Please do not start going out there and saying crap. Please do not," because people were going out there and like Caden photoshopping me leaning against the Twin Towers saying I had something to do with 9/11. So he went out there and he said, "Please do not listen to this stuff. Please do not listen to this garbage. Please, if you really want to hear from the candidate, go to the candidate themselves. Go and talk to the candidate themselves. And, just please just sit and actually listen to that candidate and hear from that candidate. And, if you don't like them after you walk away, then at least you know you met with them and at least you know how they truly were, not the way that, sources are going out there and saying stuff and everything else." That's exactly why I want him on this show, because I believe the same exact way for him. I don't want him to keep getting hit hard, because he has every right to, come over and say something that, he's not,
Absolutely.
to actually, get his word out.
Absolutely.
And so I believe in the same exact thing on his end that he did for my end. And it was, anyone can see it as well, because everything was live, everything was put onto the cameras, and he publicly went out there and said that the stuff that's currently being thrown around is very silly. And that's why I don't want him to be roped in either. I want him to come over and we can actually sit down and talk with him. So
That's a great idea.
that's exactly why, because I believe everyone has, because he hasn't done anything or said anything, because he knows that, there's no need in, going out and putting out reports or putting out sheets. Some candidates have actually went out there and publicly said, "Yep, I support this. I love them. I do this. I do that." And he's tried to remain very positive, and I know that people are kind of really hitting him down. So I would really like to get him on and let him get his point across to the people of Buchanan. So that is the answer, Mr. Jenkins. And Mr. Jenkins, you also were telling me that you might come on to my show as well. So I would love to have you on my show, and we can sit down and talk about that too.
Yes.
So that's the thing. I believe that everyone has a fair chance. Now, like I said, there's some candidates that have already used up their chances, that have already went out there and publicly said, hey, I love all this, I'm completely fine with it, and this is completely fine. There's some candidates like Robbie that aren't saying anything because there's so much mud being thrown around. And I would love him to come on and we can have a positive outlook out everything and actually put it out there.
I agree.
So that's the best way forward.
Yes.
So again, tag him in this, send it to him, tell him, get his butt on here.
Yes.
It doesn't matter. He can sit at home, relax. All he has to do is just either call in or come on.
Yes.
So just where he can get everything across, because that's the right way. That is the right way. Well, is there anything else you would like to add? I know I've been rambling on about everything.
No, you're fine. Where are we going next for the campaign?
I don't know. President sounds nice.
That has a nice ring.
It does
to
have or Senate. I got to start out small, so I
Okay,
probably.
all right.
I already got promised by some people that if they became governor, that I would be able to join in as well.
Wonderful.
So I might be going to Charleston here soon. Who knows?
Good. The campaign manager's going right with you.
I was gonna say we'll be sitting in a Charleston office, and I'll be just rambling on there.
Wonderful.
So we'll have to see there. But all right, well, with that, it marks the end of our live broadcast. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. And during these rough times, take care of each other, for that is the only way we will get through this all. Announcer, take me out.
Thanks for tuning into the Pros and Cons podcasts. Check back daily for more episodes. And remember, if everyone around you is an asshole, maybe you're the asshole.